The oldest and darkest regions beyond our solar system are places where sunlight has long since faded into memory. For nearly half a century, a human-made spacecraft has been drifting through that endless darkness. Voyager 2 launched in 1977 with no expectation of ever coming home. Its mission was simple: to explore, observe, and continue traveling farther than any spacecraft before it. Over the decades, it passed the giant planets, crossed the boundary of the heliosphere, and entered interstellar space, becoming one of humanity's most distant ambassadors. While life on Earth continued to change, Voyager 2 kept silently collecting data from a realm no human has ever visited. Then something happened that nobody anticipated. During a recent transmission, the spacecraft didn't simply send back another routine stream of scientific measurements. Hidden within the incoming data was something that immediately caught the attention of engineers. At first glance, it looked like meaningless background interference. Random static isn't unusual over such enormous distances, so few people were concerned. But after closer examination, researchers noticed an unusual rhythm buried inside the noise. The signal repeated with remarkable precision. It wasn't random. It wasn't chaotic. It followed a mathematical pattern that appeared almost deliberate. Scientists initially assumed some form of electronic interference had distorted the transmission. Yet every test they performed ruled out faults within the deep space network, solar activity, and hardware failures aboard Voyager itself. The deeper they analyzed the data, the stranger it became. Instead of meaningless noise, the signal contained an organized sequence, one far too structured to dismiss as coincidence. It appeared intelligent, extraordinarily complex, and unlike anything ever received from the spacecraft before. Even more unsettling was what happened when analysts traced the origin of the anomaly. The source didn't appear to come from Voyager. Something else seemed to be nearby. Not drifting randomly through interstellar space. Not orbiting a distant object. It appeared to be moving alongside the spacecraft. For the first time in decades, Voyager 2 seemed less like an isolated machine exploring the cosmos and more like a silent witness to something unknown. Although its instruments were designed in the 1970s, they remained surprisingly capable of detecting tiny changes in plasma waves, magnetic fields, and high-energy particles. Those sensors recently recorded a low-frequency pulse repeating every 11.2 seconds. That number immediately attracted attention. Natural cosmic noise rarely behaves with such consistency. The pulse resembled a clock. Engineers first blamed software glitches caused by extreme conditions in deep space. But when archived telemetry was reviewed, researchers found the exact same signal had appeared weeks earlier. It had simply gone unnoticed. Using modern AI-assisted filtering techniques, scientists reconstructed the data with far greater clarity. The results were difficult to explain. The mysterious pulse wasn't fading. It was becoming stronger. And every indication suggested it originated somewhere outside the spacecraft. Even more puzzling, the transmission carried a spectral fingerprint unlike anything previously catalogued. Its characteristics resembled hydrogen, the most common element in the universe, but its resonance appeared strangely altered, almost inverted. Some researchers labeled it an unexplained cosmic phenomenon. Others wondered whether the signal had been intentionally created. Regardless of the explanation, one conclusion became impossible to ignore. The silence of interstellar space had been interrupted by something capable of communicating through mathematics. Using frequency delay measurements and triangulation, mission specialists estimated the signal's source wasn't fixed in one location. Instead, it appeared to be traveling on a path remarkably similar to Voyager 2's own trajectory. It almost looked as though something had been quietly following the spacecraft. Yet its movement violated expectations. The object accelerated and slowed in sudden bursts without behaving according to familiar gravitational mechanics. Computer simulations based on conventional physics repeatedly failed to reproduce its path. Instead of simply drifting through space, it seemed to make deliberate adjustments. Even stranger, analysts noticed the object wasn't transmitting directly toward Earth. It appeared to intercept Voyager's own faint radio signals, modify them, and send altered echoes back into deep space. The discovery sparked countless theories. Could it be the remains of an unknown spacecraft from a forgotten mission? An ancient piece of technology left behind by another civilization? Or something entirely beyond current scientific understanding? Whatever it was, it had remained silent for decades. Then, seemingly without warning, Voyager's transmissions appeared to coincide with its sudden activity. As experts struggled to explain the strange transmission, another layer of the mystery emerged. Specialists in communications, astrophysics, and orbital mechanics began comparing every available dataset, searching for any clue that might connect the unusual signal to something observable in space. What they discovered only deepened the mystery. By analyzing the timing differences between receiving stations on Earth, researchers estimated that the source of the pulse wasn't fixed. Instead, it appeared to be traveling through interstellar space on a course remarkably similar to Voyager 2's own journey. It wasn't merely nearby. It seemed to be keeping pace. Even more surprising, its motion didn't resemble that of any known natural object. Instead of following a smooth gravitational path, it accelerated, slowed down, and adjusted its direction in ways that conventional orbital models couldn't explain. Every computer simulation produced contradictions, as though the object were responding to something rather than simply drifting through space. The possibility was unsettling. Rather than transmitting directly toward Earth, the mysterious source appeared to interact with Voyager itself. Scientists noticed subtle changes in the spacecraft's outgoing radio signal, almost as if something intercepted the transmission, altered tiny portions of it, and reflected it back into deep space. The effect resembled a cosmic echo, but one that carried modifications never sent by Voyager in the first place. Speculation spread rapidly behind laboratory doors. Some researchers wondered if the object could be an undiscovered remnant of an old space mission. Others proposed that it might be an unusual natural phenomenon unlike anything previously observed. A few entertained far more extraordinary possibilities, though none could be supported with evidence. Whatever the explanation, one fact remained difficult to ignore. The strange activity had remained hidden for decades before suddenly becoming detectable. As the investigation expanded, experts in mathematics, cryptography, and signal analysis were invited to study the transmission from a completely different perspective. Their findings were unexpected. Buried inside the repeating pulses were binary sequences that didn't match any known Voyager communication protocol. When these sequences were converted into visual representations, they produced astonishing geometric symmetry. Instead of random digital noise, researchers saw repeating spirals, layered fractal structures, and carefully balanced geometric arrangements. The patterns looked almost intentional. Some observers even noted that certain shapes loosely resembled symbols that have appeared throughout human history, not as exact matches, but with intriguing similarities in their mathematical proportions. No one claimed the connection was proof of anything. Yet the consistency of the patterns made coincidence increasingly difficult to accept. As more processing techniques were applied, the structure became even clearer. The transmission wasn't behaving like static. It followed rules. Every repetition maintained internal consistency, suggesting the signal had been organized according to mathematical relationships rather than random physical processes. This led to a provocative question. If an advanced civilization wanted to communicate across unimaginable distances, Mathematics would likely be the most universal language available. Could this be an attempt at exactly that? Some scientists remain skeptical, insisting that unknown natural mechanisms could still produce surprisingly ordered signals. Others argued that the data deserved serious investigation before reaching any conclusions. Regardless of personal opinions, everyone agreed on one point. The message was unlike anything Voyager 2 had ever transmitted before. One research team decided to approach the puzzle using artificial intelligence. Instead of asking software to simply decode the signal, they trained advanced neural models to predict its future behavior. At first, the AI identified repeating mathematical relationships. Then something unexpected happened. The program began anticipating portions of the sequence before they appeared in newly received data. Its predictions repeatedly matched the incoming transmission with surprising accuracy. Researchers were stunned. Normally, random signals cannot be forecast this reliably. Only structured systems governed by consistent internal logic allow meaningful prediction. If the AI truly recognized the underlying rules, then whatever generated the transmission wasn't producing random noise. It appeared to follow an organized framework. Some experts described the signal as recursive, a communication built upon repeating mathematical layers designed to evolve as it was analyzed. Rather than delivering a simple message, it seemed to invite interaction. Around the same time, another surprising development caught researchers' attention. Voyager 1, traveling billions of kilometers away on a completely different trajectory, recorded an unusual magnetic fluctuation bearing similarities to the anomaly first detected near Voyager 2. Individually, each event might have been dismissed as coincidence.